One Battle After Another is a Paul Thomas Anderson action comedy thriller film. We're following Bob. He is the Rocket Man. He's part of the French 75, a team of revolutionary rebels that are considered terrorists by the government. They, in the beginning of the film, they free some immigrants that are stranded at a Mexico border or something, and they embarrass the military types. Bob is with Perfidia. They're together as lovers. However, they run afoul of Stephen Lockjaw. He's a military man that Perfidia embarrasses after a raid, and then he comes after them like personally and makes it his mission. However, there's a time skip, and Bob now has a daughter, a teenager who's 16. However, their old enemy shows up again. Lockjaw has now joined some sort of weird organization of vigilantes to sort of take down criminal types, involving bounty hunters and things like that, and whatever forces they can muster. So now Bob, he's kind of a burnout because he's been abusing alcohol and drugs for the last couple decades. So he's not a sharp revolutionary like he used to be, and now he's got to basically escape and find a way to get his daughter out of harm's way. So this movie's notoriously long. Paul Thomas Anderson does enjoy writing his films, but also making them very indulgent in their timelines. I haven't seen Boogie Nights, but I have seen There Will Be Blood and a few others. So he definitely pushes the boundary with this one, having it almost be 3 hours long. But I wasn't really bored throughout the film. The beginning is really exciting because of all the revolutionary stuff. We get some good character development. However, after the time skip, we sort of focus less on Bob's character and more on his daughter and Lockjaw. Sometimes scenes go on for a little bit too long and the pacing can be awkward. They definitely show have some scenes that could be left on the cutting room floor, but for artistic reasons, PTA doesn't want to do that. So there's a lot of repeat scenes or just scenes of stuff just happening that doesn't really need to be there. But it all ends up being kind of like a clunky mess near the end. There's definitely some convenience with the writing and sort of the events that happen. But overall, though, I think that all the actors involved do a fun job, especially Sean Penn. Sean Penn plays like this weird man that's corrupt. He's like he walks funny when he's wearing a suit. He flinches a lot like when he's talking to other people, but then he's like when he's in his military fatigues, he's like super gung-ho, ripped, and screams at people. And then Leo's he's kind of like a burnout in this movie, so he's freaking out at people, but he's not in the movie very long. And Tiana Taylor kind of steals the show as Perfidia. She's only in the movie for a little bit, but she does a really good job too. And Benicio del Toro does a lot with very little for his screen time. And there's also the daughter. She's okay. She doesn't get to do much in the film, but overall, I find this movie to be just okay. I mean, it definitely was long in places, but it does have some really great cinematography. Action wasn't really up to par, but you have to remember that Paul Thomas Anderson is not really an action director, so he definitely needs to work on that if he wants to have more thrilling scenes in his movies. I mean, this film did definitely remind me a lot of Inherent Vice, because in that movie, Joaquin Phoenix plays like a sort of goofy kind of investigator character who's in over his head, and then the same is for this movie. Characters get lucky, or they're in over their head, but they just manage to get out by the skin of their teeth. But there wasn't much action in Inherent Vice. This one definitely had a lot more explosions, a lot more guns, a lot more things going on, car chases. Not really well done, to be honest, in my opinion, but he is an art house director. That'd be like asking Wes Anderson to do a really good car chase. He's just not well versed in that sort of directing. So other than that, though, One Battle After Another is all right. I give it a 6.5 out of 10.